Patdees, and you're on Thursday Night Live, and I'm with Kimberly, Borderline Hoarders, and we got a special show tonight. Special guest. They're back in the green room. I'm hoping that the catering is all right. Last week's catering was a little poor. McDonald's wasn't cut, so I'm hoping that everything's all right here. Kimberly, we're going to let a couple people come in. If you want to real quick just kind of say hello to some of the people that are already in the room?
Sure, I can do that. Let me get that over there. I see Jason Static was first. What's up, Jason? Tasha, she always says the nicest thing. Tasha, we appreciate you. Melissa W., the best mod in the business. Thank you for always being such an amazing supporter to so many of us, and an awesome wrench. You deserve that wrench. She deserves a big glittery gold one. Too bad they don't hand out wrenches like that. Norgus R, Darlene, hello. Mary Beth, my pacemaker friend, hello. How are you? Curious George is in the chat. What's up? Caffeinated Christy, hello. Adventures with the Hudson, Sandy Brown. Oh, and my chat is skipping. Donatella, hello, Donatella. Pamela Lynn, another very awesome supporter of Minnie. Destiny the Shamrock Pixie, hello, my Irish twin. And I know more will be rolling in. Just me, Kathy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I skipped right over her. You just snuck right by me. Hello, Kathy. And of course, Jeremy, what the Hales?
Yeah, I'm excited, about tonight, Everyone doesn't know who I am. I'm Patdees. I sell on eBay. I sell on Amazon. I'm a property manager, and I do Instacart delivery on the side. So I got a bunch of side hustles. The interest to bring these people on tonight was of wanting to buy storage units and stuff like that. And I had the chance to go out there 3 weeks ago in Ohio and meet up with them. And I was excited to have them come on the show tonight. But, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Something's missing. Hold on. I got to get prepared. That's okay. Now I'm ready. But Kimmy, I mean, come on. We talked about this. You have to get ready too.
Oh, should I? Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
yes.
wait. No, wait. Is this good? Is it? Yeah, good?
Yes.
Yeah, no. Oh, how about this? Bam!
There we go. There. If you want to be part of the Hales alumni and part of the team, you got to be prepared. You got to be.
Oh, am I in? Is it my first day?
It's your first day. Why don't you tell people who you are and what you do? And
I can do that. My name is Kimberly. My YouTube channel is Borderline Hoarderish, where hoarding is only cool if you can sell it for a profit. I'm a mom, a reseller, and I live life with a pacemaker. So I have a lot going on. My children just started school this week. It is a little nutso around here. Just this last weekend, I went and hiked up to 14,000 feet, well, above 14,000 feet. So I like to try to stay active and, amongst the reselling life. There's my introduction. Is that all right? Is that okay?
That's good. Are we ready to bring them in, Kimmy, or,
You think we are?
I think so. I think we're
Wait. I have an idea, though. I have an idea before we get started. I know they do this little thing, right? At the beginning of every single episode. I know they like to sing. And for those that have been following us already and who follow me know that I love singing. So I thought maybe instead of Jeremy starting out the show singing for us, I'm going to do it for them. I'm pretty sure y'all know this tune. I changed up a few words. Are you ready? Oh, YouTubers, guess who? It's our special guest. You heard it's true. They are one of the best. I'm sure you know. Welcome, Jeremy and George, to our Thursday show. All right, everybody now. Oh, YouTubers. We love you. Oh, what the hells. We love you. You bring happiness to the world of YouTube. Oh, Jeremy and George, we love you.
That's great. No one better not say I'm not smiling tonight, because they're back in the green room watching the TV. So we're going to get them out here. I'm really excited to have Jeremy and George. They are the largest channel that we've had on this show, with 120,000 subscribers to their channel. And I say that because I'll tell you the truth. I'm really grateful that they've taken the time out to, they're busy people. And, you know, a smaller channel, I reached out to them a couple months ago. We became friends and talking and stuff like that. And they said, hey, Pat, you want to come out and hang out with Ohio for a day? And I did. And, you know, the only thing they asked out of me was to say, Pat, invite me out to your area one day so we can hang out with you. So that I'm very gracious. I'm glad to have him here. Let's welcome him to the show today.
George, do you see this? Do you see this?
Here we are. Great job, Kimmy. Everyone, give it up for Kimmy.
Oh, thank you.
Like our graduated son, Patdees, has flown out of the nest, and he wears those glasses with such incredible power, and yet he still embraces the responsibility behind them as well.
Yes, indeed.
That's right.
And not only that, he has gone on to mentor others. Look at Kimmy there. She's wearing the glasses.
Professor Kimmy in the house.
Wow.
I had to get that, but I also got, you know, I got to do my own little twist on life. I got myself my own pair.
There you go. You gotta embrace your own creativity.
It looks great.
The students have become the teachers.
At least I know I'm safe today. I'm not going to get pushed in a hole. If anybody hasn't seen that video there, that I didn't realize that there was part of the training there. So
that was the best part of the day at the auction, going for the ride and almost dumping in the hole.
And people don't realize it was hot out there, and we were dodging rain in between. So
it was a hot one.
It was. So what's going on, guys? I know you talked about having a busy day, so I thank you guys for coming.
We did have a busy day.
Yeah.
You want to tell them what we did today?
It's been extremely busy. We started our morning off going to a storage auction. Shocking.
I know. Some of you guys can't believe that, but that's actually what we did today.
I took the day off to go to a storage unit auction, and it was advertised as 19 units. And
when we got there, due to the law of redemption, which basically states if you come and pay your delinquent fees before your unit is auctioned off, you get to save everything. And so we went from 19 units down to 3.
3. Save the lockers. So that was kind of a bust. And then same auctioneer. It wasn't a caravan auction. It just happened to be same auctioneer, same day, different.
Then we went to the warehouse to work and film.
We did some unboxing at the warehouse for a video, and then we went to local auction.
Any Christmas stuff?
Yes.
Always.
One of the units definitely had a Christmas tree right up front and a ton of lights.
Always.
They were all tangled together. And
I got this when I was out hanging out with them. Another buyer that had outbid actually said, hey, you want this? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah. You got that. For those of you who don't know, Patdees got that Santa figure here in Ohio when he hung out with us.
Did you know Santa's originally from Ohio?
Is he really?
Yeah, he started the Restored to the Love movement.
So then the second auction we went to was here local in Worcester, Ohio. Was advertised as 3 units going up for auction, and then that was reduced down to 1 unit, and that unit was just a big pileup. It looked like people just threw everything in there. It almost looked like a manager special.
No, manager specials look better than that. So today was a bust. We actually went to 2 auctions and we didn't buy anything, but we've got great news. Tomorrow is a new day.
Yes. And guess where we'll be tomorrow?
When we wake up tomorrow morning, we'll see each other's bright, shining faces. What, 10 a.m.?
10 a.m.
We're meeting at 10 a.m.
Yes.
We're meeting at 10 a.m. in Ashland at an auction.
We posted it on our Facebook page and we posted it on our YouTube community page that will be in Ashland, Ohio. So for those local followers, if you guys want to come out and meet us, or if you want to bid against us, feel free to stop up.
Hey, I see Gemini Thrifts is in the room. Tina, she's actually a local lady that lives in our area, so I really appreciate stopping in. We got 41 people in the room tonight. If you guys could hit that like button, be greatly appreciated.
I'm going to hit it right now. Watch. It's going to go up to 26 right now. It just
All
did.
right.
Oh,
Good
one thumbs down. I think that was me by accident.
We got
the thumbs down twice. That's what you forget. You hit the thumbs down twice. Make sure everybody knows how disappointed you are.
We got that before the show even started. So that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So
It happens.
Jeremy, I got a couple questions I want to ask you since you're on the show here. That he looks nervous. When did you start buying storage units, and what was the appeal of buying? Like, how did you get about buying storage lockers?
Well, for me personally, I can't remember my first storage unit. So I try and think back, and because everybody always asks that, when was your first one? When did you start? And I don't remember, but I know the appeal of it is I can tell you when eBay first came out in the 90s, I was right on that. And I was working a swinging 12-hour shift then. So with a swinging 12, what you do is you work 3 days for 12 hours every day. Then you'd have 4 days off. Then you'd work 4 nights, 12 hours every night. And then you'd have like 3 days off. And it was just a crazy, crazy shift. And I was reselling with what's now called retail arbitrage, but I was picking stuff up everywhere. I was working for BF Goodrich in a polythermal division, the highest grossing division of BF Goodrich, with a good job. And I was making more online on eBay. And it just made no sense to me whatsoever to continue to work for somebody else and build them wealth when I could work for myself and build wealth. Whereas where storage units come dead in on that whole wealth building experience, which also is part of the thrill of the treasure hunt. So opening every box, every tote, seeing what's inside, that's a fun thing. And that fun part adds to the economic part of your sustainable business, your viable business. You're generating your own income and you're generating wealth for yourself and wealth to pass down into your family as well. So I think that's where the draw of it is for me. And George, when did you get into your first one, and what's the draw for you?
This guy right here is how I got started in the storage unit business. When I first met him last July, he told me what he did and then asked if that was something I would ever.
No, wait, you got to back up.
Would ever get into.
Because first you asked me, what do you do for a living? And I said, I'm unemployed. And that's what she did. She laughed. I was like, all right, I guess we're okay.
So then fast forward in July, I told him, no, that's not something I would ever picture myself ever doing, because the thought of storage units, it's kind of a dirty job.
Very dirty.
Right?
Yeah. If Mike Rowe could have done an episode on storage units, we've got a few storage units that would have made a great episode for him.
And fast forward to November 10th is the exact day of when Jeremy took me to my very first storage unit auction. And ever since then, I've been hooked. So it hasn't been a year for me. November 10th will be a year.
Wow.
That I've been doing storage units.
We're going to have cake and ice cream. I'll bake you a cake, baby.
Okay.
All right, deal.
Would you like ice cream cake?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I love all kinds of cake. My favorite cake is casada cake.
Which I've tried to find casada cake in Wayne County.
What's casada cake?
It's like It's like a cake filled with deliciousness.
That's what
it's
everybody
got like a little
said.
bit of a custard and then like fresh strawberries in between 2 layers of fluffy like yellow cake. Oh my God, it's so
When
good.
I went to all the bakeries and I said, "Can I get a casada cake
It's a
for a
special
birthday?"
order cake.
They all went, "What's a casada cake?" I don't know. Egyptian and
It's an Italian cake.
yeah, an Egyptian wanting an Italian cake.
It's an Italian cake.
I've been to Italy. I don't know what casada cake is.
If you guys haven't had casada cake, you have to try it. It's to die for. If you're not allergic to strawberries.
Sounds good. I'm not allergic to strawberries. I'm not really allergic to any food, so.
I love strawberries, so I'd be
I'm
there.
a cheesecake fan. That's my favorite. I mean, is cheesecake a cake or is it a pie? I don't know, but that's my favorite.
What is that tapping? Is that our mic?
I think so, yeah.
Sometimes our mic does that.
That's all right.
See if we can.
That's okay.
And then we will do this.
I just gotta pull it out and pull it back in.
All right, should be okay. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, so you don't know you don't know. Have you kept track of how many units that you've bought over the years?
No.
No clue.
So
no
many.
clue whatsoever.
And I haven't kept track either. There's just been so many that it's hard to keep track.
Yeah,
Well,
I would never thought that anybody would ever want to know how many storage units I bought. I would have never kept track. I don't remember the first one. I mean, I barely can remember 2 days ago because it's so intense. People will actually message us. They'll see things in the videos, and a lot of the subscribers want to buy things. And they'll be like, "Hey, can I buy that one thing from that one video?" I have no clue whatsoever. And she has no clue whatsoever because thousands, if not tens of thousands, some days hundreds of thousands of items pass our hands every day. So it all just blends in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now we got 50 people in the. I want to encourage people. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I appreciate everyone taking the time to come in and join us with Jeremy and George. So again, I'll highlight a question right now. Here's a question from Joy. Do you see it? Hi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what we're going to do. We already have this planned out.
Mm-hmm.
So after we're done buying storage units, we're going to move on to something bigger and better. We're going to move on to buying abandoned pyramids. That's the plan.
Now, did I hear him say you're from Egypt?
Just unplug it and plug it back in.
George.
We had to reboot the mic.
No, that's okay. You're from Egypt, he said?
So I was born and raised here in the Cleveland, Ohio area. My parents were born and raised in Egypt, Cairo, Egypt, and they immigrated here 40 years ago.
Okay.
So I've never lived anywhere outside of Ohio. But my parents only spoke Egyptian growing up. So I went to preschool not knowing any English. All I spoke was Egyptian. And then I watched Lamb Chops and Sesame Street, and that helped me with my English skills. And
Lamb.
Yeah, do you guys remember Lamb Chops?
Yeah, that's the little puppet thing, right? No?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a puppet.
The sock puppet or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the sock puppet. Yep.
Yes, I think that's where one of the annoying something. Well, I think it's a little. But this is a song that never ends. I think that's where I first heard that song many moons ago.
Her microphone is being temperamental.
That's all right. Hey, I have a question from someone in the room. This is for everyone. What is the one item that you found and sold that you wish you had kept? We'll start with you guys. Jeremy?
For me, nothing. I'm not a collector. There isn't anything that I've really wanted to keep that I found in a storage unit. So everything goes up for sale. I
would be right there along with her in the same lines. As a matter of fact, when we met, we both said, hey, none of us hold on to material things. There's only one thing that I've ever bought that I kind of missed, and that was my speedboat, and I lost that. So that's gone. I guess I didn't lose it.
Technically, it wasn't in a storage unit.
It wasn't in a storage unit, but I got an amazing deal on it. And then I used it to start a water sports camp with the Christian camp that I was a part of. And so I didn't lose it. I gave it away. And so that's the only thing that I've ever been like, man, I kind of missed that. But there's nothing that I wouldn't have sold it if I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing that I have a regret that I sold that I want back.
Yeah, and as far as me, I've only ever bought 3 units now in my life. When I was out with Jeremy and George, we looked at a couple units, but because I was so far, I didn't have any plans. It was an opportunity to hang out with them. Now I was at an auction last week, and there was 10 units, and I bid on 3, and I just set a budget. And the only thing I've ever kept pretty much out of the unit is CDs, because I got like 2 big booklets of CDs, and to buy CDs a lot of times, back in the day were like $10, so I kept them all. But I go and buy, unless I would come across something like maybe old toy lunch boxes or something I would really like. I have full intentions when I buy this stuff to flip it for a profit. How about you, Kimmy?
What's that? Oh, I was paying attention to the chat.
This is why Patdees is the Hales of
I'm having to mute myself because you know me, and so does the chat. I'm like an angry typer over here. So I'm trying to be a courteous co-host and pay attention to the chat. While you do your thing. Okay, tell me the question again.
Has there ever been anything that you bought like out of a storage unit?
Yeah. Okay. So I was thinking when they first responded about the quote that I like to tell people is you can't bring a U-Haul to heaven. So pretty much if you can make a profit from it, sell it. If I could live a minimalist life, I would. It's maybe someday I will have a little tiny house, or I really would like to travel too, but I'm a little far down the road with the age of what my children are. I do have things that I like a lot. Like I love rocks. My kids and I, anywhere we go that's new, or we go and hike, like for example, when we went hiking over the weekend up Mount Evans, up at the top at 14,260 feet, we picked up a rock and we bring the rock home, and I write on it the date and where we got it, and then I put a clear coat over it, and we add it to this collection that we have. So there are some things I keep. I do like art supplies a lot. So do my kids. So if I come across art supplies, I might keep them. But most things, I'd rather not look at it. It's more things to dust, and I don't like to dust.
Yeah. I don't like clutter.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Like my ideal kitchen, or even like the kitchen would just have all, those cabinets are all the same, symmetrical. Even the fridge being hidden. That's my dream kitchen.
I don't want to. Everything in my house is actually from a storage unit. So in 2014, I went through a divorce. My ex-wife filed for divorce, and like any divorce, I mean, you can sue anybody for anything. And so she was suing for everything. And instead of fighting it, I just went, all right, take it. I'll rebuild my life. And so that's where the boat went. That's where everything went. So I literally had a toothbrush and an air mattress in a house that had no utilities for 3 months, and everything in the house, which Pat's been to the house, everything's from a storage unit. So I have the necessities, and then everything else gets sold. And sometimes what will happen if there's a decoration, for example, this item here, when this was found in a storage unit, the butter churner, everybody in the videos, I mean, they wanted it. They offered money for it, and we could have sold it on eBay. But we said, oh, that might look good up on the mantle. And in a few months, that'll probably get sold on eBay, and something else that's found in a storage unit will probably go up there and be like, all right, well, let's swap it out. So it's like never ending. There was one time, I think within a matter of like 5 months, I went through 5 or 6 different dinner tables. It was like, well, I'm going with this one now. Well, now I'm going with this one. Well, now I'm going with this one.
Hey, so that's good.
And that being said, there's one at the warehouse that you want me to bring the farm table. You want me to get rid of the oak one and bring the farm table, and we still haven't done it.
At one point, but now I don't care.
Oh, okay. So at one point she wanted another dinner table, and it's at the warehouse. It's an old farm table. It's beautiful with a bench. And she's like, oh, we need to put that in your kitchen. Let's get rid of the oak one. I'm like, yeah,
it was
all right.
more modern. The oak one just reminds me of like.
She always says I'm an old grandpa anyway.
Something I would see at my grandparents' house, but I don't care. I let it go.
We never sit at it. It's filled with jewelry and old coins, and I'm looking at it right now. Stuff that we're gonna sell. It's filled with a scale for selling on eBay, jewelry. I see rings, money,
all the cell phones we find.
Cell phones. I see a deer skull that you're probably selling to somebody.
A lot of our subscribers will email us wanting to buy something from our unboxing. So I bring a lot of it back to Jeremy so that I can ship out to them. So that's what a lot of the stuff is on the table, are items that our subscribers want to buy.
Well, that's cool. That's cool that you got so many supportive people too. I've been kind of a bargain hunter since I could remember. So, and also I've never been one to like stick with the same type of thing. So the whole fact that I love to rearrange or love to change constantly the home decor in my house works well being a reseller, because if I get tired of something, I just sell it. I have a lot of space issues when it comes to storing things. So I use my walls. I always tell people who have issues with space, go vertical. Start going vertical with the way that you store things. Or if you have pictures or items that you can put up, then do that. It's like, for example, up here, that almost every single thing up here, and then on that weird upper wall is all eBay stuff. Just use the space wisely. But yeah, I'd probably shift through 6 or 7 kitchen tables, I'm sure too.
Swamp Picker just asked a really interesting question. And we actually get this one often. He said, have you ever had to call the police on anything that you found? So here's really the way that the question is generally posed to us is people go, what do you do if you find something stolen? All right. So if you actually go to your police, if you ask them this question, it's say you go to your local police and you go to them and you go, hey, what do you do? I buy storage units. What if I find something stolen? The first thing they're going to do is look at you and go, how are you going to prove it's stolen? So, for example, how many millions of bottles of Powerade are made on a yearly basis? So how can you prove this Powerade is actually stolen? Mm-hmm. The only way.
There's only one way.
You have to have a VIN number. And so the only way you'll ever be able to prove anything is stolen is with an identification number.
Or if someone called and reported it stolen, but
you still can't prove that this bottle of Powerade is stolen if somebody called and reported it stolen. So you have to be able to prove it based on an identification number. So you'll get that on a vehicle, you'll get that on a trailer, and that's about your limitation there.
You have motorcycles, anything with a
VIN number, or so if you suspect that, you can call the police. Now, we were at an auction, and there's a video at it there that these
guns too. You can find out if they're stolen.
Well, we do that online. We don't call the police for that. But if you suspect something stolen and you got to call the police, you can do that, and they'll run the VIN numbers, and it will make a great YouTube video because anybody's going to click on the police. But we were at an auction last winter, and this is where we're going to go again tomorrow morning, where the facility actually called the police because people saw the public posting of the storage unit going up for auction and said that guy is notorious for theft. So the facility called the sheriff in to run the numbers on all the ATVs and motorcycles in the unit
during the auction,
and I bought it.
And It was the last unit to go up for auction because it bought the sheriff time to run those numbers.
Because they had to run all the VINs. So
Yeah.
while everybody was at the other units, I told George, I said, hey, I'm going to go talk to the sheriff. And I was talking to the sheriff going, hey, what's going on? You know, talk to me. And they're like, no, everything's clear. Everything's clear. So I was the only one that knew the vehicles were cleared. And so I bought it. And I don't even remember
because
how much I paid
technically,
for it,
if it is stolen and you buy a unit, they have every right to
they can
confiscate
seize it all.
Yeah, they can seize it all.
All right. The one time we did contact the police was for bulk find of drugs. We find drugs all the time. It is just, it goes hand in hand with storage units.
Mm-hmm.
If you're buying storage units, you're going to find drugs. So we found a bulk amount of drugs, and we'll never contact the police for something like that again, because the very first thing that happens, you're interrogated as if you did it. And we're never going to be in that position again. We'll just do what we always do. We'll dispose of it, and we'll never contact anybody again about that.
Mm-hmm.
And with guns, if you find guns, you can look online to see if they're hot. So that would just be hotguns.com, G-U-N-Z.
Gun spelled with a Z.
And you can see if it's hot, if it is stolen. If it's a hot gun, then you can just go, you can go and turn that into your local police. And then you can also get it transferred into your name. Now, laws vary state to state to state to state. We live in Ohio, very, very loose compared to New York, California. They could go on and on there. So you need to adhere to your state laws in regards to guns. Mm-hmm. And that should answer Swamp Picker's question all around encompassing.
Yeah.
Right.
Mary DC Deals wanted to know, in our opinion, should Locker Nuts have gotten to keep the boats that he found?
No, he.
So in the state of California.
No, it's in the state. It's every state. It's lien law. Okay, so it comes straight down to lien law again. If an item has a title, a VIN number, for example, if you look. Okay, here's the crazy thing. We have 2 videos. I bought a unit that had 2 motorcycles, and I did not get the titles. Lien law states they couldn't sell them to me, but they did anyway. You just saw me buy a unit that had a scooter that has a title. Lien law states that they can't sell it to me. They did anyway. What they have to do is their due diligence in regards to lien law. They have to go back and find out, are there any liens filed on the vehicle? Then they have to make sure the title is cleared and all of that, and then they can auction it off. Mm-hmm. This stuff didn't happen.
It's kind of a lengthy process.
It's a very lengthy process. So normally what they just do is they just pull the vehicles, they have them impounded, and they're gone. They don't even mess around with the headache because it's so lengthy and so costly. So lien law in all of the states clearly state that if there's a title, it can't be sold. So everybody in California knew that ahead of time, but they still gambled and they were hoping. And when you see me buy a unit with the moped this past week, I clearly asked the manager, the owner of the facility was there. You don't see this on camera. You see such a small sliver of the whole big picture. And I clearly asked, am I getting the moped? And they said yes. Now, what I'm doing now is trying to negotiate with the former owner to get the title transferred over to me. So lien law states that they shouldn't have sold that to me, but they did. And I didn't do anything illegal by any stretch of the imagination. That was their responsibility. I'm the buyer. Their responsibility is in regards to the umbrella of lien law. And so now I'm trying to actually get the title so that we can use that.
I was thinking about, so I've only had to deal with the cops once in storage units, but I haven't bought as many as you guys have. And it's been quite a few years since probably about a year and a half, maybe 2. Let's see, what month is it? But I had to call the cops because the unit was full of copied money and printers. So the police ended up taking all the money, obviously, like that's good anyways, and letting me keep the printers. But that's the only time that I've really dealt with. I've dealt with like gross storage units but the only time I've ever called or had to deal with the police is when there was a bunch of
The
And
counterfeits?
a bunch. I mean, they had it stashed inside of other printers, like in weird spots. It was an immediate kind of red flag when I got a little deeper into it. But,
you got lucky the police didn't seize the entire unit. And when they seize that entire unit, then what happens is you lose everything.
Well, there was a little bit of a good connection with the storage facility and the area. I think they just maybe didn't want to deal with it necessarily. But so they took the money and I sold every printer there that was in working condition.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
how much money of counterfeit money do you think was in the locker?
Oh, wow. Over 50,000 probably. Wow. I mean, it was and it was good. They did a good job. But
so after selling the printers, how much more counterfeit money do you think people made?
It wasn't like that's what they were necessarily doing it out of. It was like they were doing it somewhere else, and they quickly had to stash all of their stuff and sort of the front of it to be hidden with all the stuff that they were doing wrong. So if I would have saw that right away and had kind of red flags, I wouldn't have even dealt with it, because it just wasn't necessarily worth my time in doing that. And being not as knowledgeable in storage units, I just didn't want, necessarily, I wouldn't have dealt with it. But it ended up being all right, in the end. So I'm going to get back into it. I had to wait for the green light go for my last pacemaker surgery. And just this recent May would have been a year. So I have the green light go to be able to do things that, are a little more work or heavier.
That's great. So that's
awesome.
I'm
I don't think, there are things that I don't like to even deal with, kind of being a one person show, and that part is couches and beds. I won't even do it. If I see that in there, I can't do it by myself. So I'm going to try to stick with smaller ones. But
that means we can hire her to come haul stuff, and I can finally take a break.
We'll have you lifting everything but beds and.
Who's going to do the beds and the couches? You?
And the couches.
Sleepers are the worst.
Oh, sleeper sofas are horrible. Horrible. Throw my back out every single time.
Yeah, that's no good. I'll be like, nope.
I was wondering, do they ever offer that you can throw the trash in the dumpster, like for a fee on site, or do they do that?
Almost never. The only time we ever saw that was in California. And keep in mind, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. The only time I ever saw that was in California at Public Storage. The district manager would sweeten the deal and say, remember, these aren't the auctioneers. These are district managers at Public Storage that said, all right, if you buy this for $1, I'll let you throw all the garbage in my dumpster. In other words, the Public Storage just wants the stuff moved out.
They want it vacant as soon as possible so that they can rent that unit to the next person.
The district managers get bonuses based on capacity percentages. Mm-hmm. So the district manager is going to sweeten the deal and go, okay, you can use the dumpster. And they do that because bonuses.
Yeah, I had it when I was at a U-Haul auction. The guy was talking about 6 units that never even got bid on. And he said that the manager was going to be upset because they were going to have to call in a big dumpster to empty them themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever used there's a couple times where I got roll-offs or just rented out some. Well, that was actually for house though. That was like more of a hoarder house kind of situation. But I know that sometimes, I live in Denver, Colorado. So it's fairly like the dump is really close. Downtown is really close. The flea market is literally, I could walk to it, but it might be a little bit of a trek, but it's super close. So there's a lot of, conveniences, but I've arranged a dump, like a roll-off.
Yeah.
Being in good standing with a company, and they just kind of knew, with that connection. And actually that connection started with when I was roofing. I had a roofing company. That's where that roll-off dumpster connection came through, but they would come and throw me down a roll-off if I needed one. And they're fairly, reasonable depending on where you're at. So Yeah,
So
Donatella does.
We've done that one time.
we've done that one time, and
Only one
that's
time.
the thing that I encourage people. If you're going to buy in bulk and you don't have space and you need to get rid of garbage really quick, rent a dumpster. Now, Donatello just said, have you ever gotten one surrendered to you that haven't been sold?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have auctioneers and facility managers go, Jeremy, will you please take this? And sometimes I will, just to continue to cultivate that relationship with those individuals. And sometimes there's so much garbage and I'm limited on time that I won't. So this past week, one of our subscribers came out to an auction, and nobody has seen the video yet. I've just started editing it tonight. And his name was Eric. He bought a unit. It was his first auction, first unit, and he didn't have room. And I said, just throw all your garbage in my trailer. I'll haul it off. And so Eric put his garbage in my trailer. I hauled it off for him. But that was for a subscriber.
Nice of you.
I didn't tell you that.
You didn't tell me that.
Sometimes I'm nice. So we'll see what we can do to help cultivate those relationships too.
I'm laughing because JK said when the banner comes up, all you see is George's hair. Sorry about that for the guys that are watching, George. But I actually had a couple years ago, I used to do a little cleanup business on the side, and a guy called me up and said he had stuff to take out and how much would I charge? I told him $100. And whatever was left in there, I got to keep, and I sold that stuff for $800. The appeal for him was to get rid of the trash. When I used to have a restaurant, I had a big dumpster, so a lot of times it wasn't getting emptied every week. But I made out, I mean, the guy paid me, and I sold stuff that was in there, so I made it like a bandit. This facility now, they don't do auctions, but now I've recontacted with them, and they get a lot of times where they just don't want to be bothered with an auctioneer, and they have their own truck that they lend out to people that rent from them, and they'll load that truck up just to dump in the landfill. So sometimes they'll call you up and say, hey, do you want any of this stuff? Just so it lightens the load for them to take to the landfill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We learned that too, that a lot of storage facilities, they don't want to bother with having an auction. They don't want people on the property that's not renting out a unit. They don't want to hire an auctioneer. They just want to get rid of it.
They just want it gone.
Yeah. So they contract with people to clean out the units for them.
Right. Now, I was looking through the chat on my phone, and Tina asked earlier, where do you guys, and I wrote it down, where do you guys primarily sell your storage finds?
We use different platforms depending on the items. So you gotta, if you're gonna do this for whether it's part-time or transition to full-time, you have to figure out what is going to be sellable on Facebook Marketplace, what's going to be sellable on Craigslist, what's going to be sellable on like if you're going to have a yard sale or a garage sale, what's sellable on eBay. So we use all sorts of avenues to sell. Did I miss one?
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
A lot of resellers use different apps like Mercari.
Baby, I was listening. That was a joke. I would never ignore you.
There's other apps that
I would also
resellers
never
use,
tell you if you missed something, because
those
I'm not that stupid. You have too many swords, and I see the one right there.
Nice.
So there's plenty of different reselling apps out there for people to resell, but those are just the top 4 ways that we get rid of our things: eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and then we have warehouse sales.
Now, I've heard you talk about this warehouse. What do you guys want to discuss? Basically, is that something that's open to the public, or is this a facility that you guys use for your eBay sales?
You go ahead and answer it.
Oh, you're tossing it to me? Yeah. Okay. The warehouse sometimes is open to the public. So, for example, today it was open to the public. Tomorrow, Saturday, it will be open to the public. So think of it as pickers coming in to pick. And so there's certain items that we've already sorted through that we allow them to come in and pick. Or you can think of it as a gigantic garage sale. But also within the warehouse, there are areas that are blocked off. And if you have an eBay death pile, these death piles are probably...
The profit piles, you mean?
Profit piles. That's what I meant. Profit piles. If you have an eBay profit pile, these profit piles They stack up high, like Kimmy says. Stack high.
that was
and deep. So there's a little bit of everything in the warehouse. It's about 7,000 square feet. There is nothing fancy about it at all. It is an old pickle factory. It stinks. It's dark. But
it does the job of storing everything.
It does exactly what I need it to do. It's cheap. It stores. Everything is dry. And I can work there. I have 2 docks to work off of. I park trailers there and vehicles, and I have employees work there.
It's nice because it has an overhang, so you can work under the shade. If it rains, you're protected.
Well, if it rains, you're still getting rained on because the overhang has holes in it everywhere. But yeah, there's nothing fancy about the warehouse whatsoever. So if people go, oh, we're going to go to the What the Hales warehouse, I promise you will be disappointed. You will. You'll be like,
it's not climate controlled, so there's no AC and it's hot.
There's no AC. there's no heat in the winter. There's no huge sign. It's just a rundown building.
Have you had YouTubers or people that follow you come to the warehouse to buy stuff?
All the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we forewarn them to let them know that we typically aren't at the warehouse. We have a warehouse manager that runs those sales for us, so that they're not upset and travel to meet us and not see us there.
Yeah.
And some will travel a great distance just to try and meet us.
Yeah.
And I've been to the warehouse.
Yes, you have.
And you can tell everybody, it ain't nothing pretty. There is nothing pretty about it at all.
Does it smell like pickles?
It's big and red.
Does it smell like pickles, Pat?
It smells like. Did it smell like dirty diapers?
I was checking out the inventory, so I wasn't.
On most days, the water treatment plant. So this is in the industrial downtown area of Worcester, and so this is the rundown industrial area. It's dirty. And so the wastewater plant is literally right around the corner. Most days, the wind blows straight into the warehouse, and you smell the most putrid wastewater. The day that Pat was there, all you could smell was old pickles. So he got lucky.
So if you love the smell of old pickles, you'll love being at the warehouse.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know about pickles, but that's all right. I could get over. I could get over it. I could get over it. It would be fine. Outside, I live near a bread factory, so it always, a lot of times smells like toast when I walk outside of my.
That's a delicious smell. I love the smell of toast.
Yeah, what makes you crave it? Like, I swear that's probably why I'm such a carby. Like, I'm not a Barbie, I'm a carby. I like my carbs.
I love carbs too.
Baby, why are you dissing the pickles?
I can never give up carbs.
What did the pickles do to you?
I'm not dissing the pickles.
That pickle factory is hurt now.
It'd be really awesome if it was like bright green instead. That's funny.
Did I miss any questions? Melissa's asked me where I'm sneaking off. I snuck off to get a bottle of water. Jeremy, I heard you talking earlier about the Christian camps. Is that something that you're still doing, or?
No, it's not something I'm still involved in. But when I first went to camp as a third grader, right out of school, Mom and Dad said, "Hey, do you want to go to camp?" And I said, "No way, I would never want to leave your side." And they said, "Too bad," and they kicked me out. You know, parenting was much different back then than it is today. Today we have what we call hovering parents or helicopter parents.
Helicopter parents.
And so today, if you ask a kid, "Hey, do you want to go to camp?" and the kid goes, "No," Mom goes, "Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you." Parenting is so much different. So Dad forced me to go to camp. I went to camp, and my dream was to work at camp. And so I actually followed that dream. And as a 16-year-old, I was a speedboat driver at camp. And then my dream was to actually run the camp. And so I worked on my undergraduate. So I have a camp administration degree. And then I also have a master's degree as well. And I've been involved in Christian camping, honestly, all around the world. So here in Ohio and in Michigan, and then all around the world, I would take students with me, and we would have a cross-cultural camping experience every year. So we've helped establish camps in Italy, in Japan, in Scotland, around the world. And so It's not something I'm currently involved in. I mean, basically the main emphasis and reason why, number one, I went through a divorce. And so I think in that aspect of Christian camping, that limits some of the potential that I have to actually serve in that capacity. And why other people may go, oh no, that doesn't limit you at all. I personally believe that limits me to serve in that capacity. So I don't do anything vocationally with Christian camps anymore. It doesn't mean I don't love it. It's a huge passion, and I still have friends all over the world serving in camps, and students that have gone on into full-time ministry in camps, and keep up with them as well. And that's one of the main areas where I will always give sacrificially out of my own pocket, will always be to Christian camping, because it's so near and dear to my own heart.
That's cool. That's pretty awesome. I used to take mission trips when I was in youth group, and then a little earlier into my 20s, but it made me think of a few camps that I would go and help out in, which was for adult special needs. And it was people from all, kind of walks of life. Like some of them, maybe you got into a car wreck or something and just needed a little extra help in life. Yeah. But I was totally having flashbacks of doing that, and how I wish that I had more time to do those types of things, because it really is pretty cool. So
yeah, I would build, if you've ever seen zip lines and high ropes elements, and I got to do all of that. Run paintball program. I mean, if you can dream it, I built an Olympic-sized swimming pool. I started aviation camp here in Ohio. We taught campers to fly planes. If we could dream it, we made it happen. And what the beauty of camping is it takes all these people from different backgrounds and perspectives, and it puts them into a cabin unit. And all of a sudden, the world, you see the perspective so much larger than just your own perspective. And then you create this cohesive group of people who belong together and love one another. And that's an amazing thing. And when you think about YouTube does the exact same thing. It takes all these people from all around the world, and with all these different perspectives, and puts them together, and you make these cohesive groups. And one of the things George and I always say is our subscribers feel just like family. And so YouTube has that same effect that camping does. It just gets there a whole different way.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're talking about, dreams and things that you, what's a bucket list thing for you guys that you want to do, or just, I know that maybe you have lots of bucket list items, but besides what restores the love, because I know that's going to be a really huge thing, and I'm sure we'll talk about that momentarily, but what is a bucket list thing that you and George want to do together?
The Grand Canyon.
We want to see the Grand Canyon. We want to see the Redwood Forest.
Oh, that's awesome.
We want to spend
He wants to hug a redwood.
I want to hug a redwood forest. I'm not a tree hugger, but I do want to hug a redwood.
Hashtag not a tree hugger. Yeah. But he would like to.
I want to spend a significant amount of time at some of the world's greatest national parks. And I basically want to see the world. But the biggest thing is I'm still trying to talk her jumping out of a plane with me and skydiving. So that's my biggest thing. I still can't find anybody to go skydiving with me. So I've been able to do a ton of things. When you think about camping, you think about recreational, adrenaline-driven things. If anybody's ever seen bubble soccer, if you've seen the videos on YouTube where people are in these bubbles and they run towards each other and they bounce, I was the first organization to bring that into the United States. So you may think, oh, this little old guy here in Ohio. I was the first organization to bring that activity into the United States.
Love those things.
They're amazing. I had them custom made from China, shipped over the whole deal.
It reminds me of sumo wrestling.
So if you can think of it, I would love to be a part of it, but she's not so much of the high adrenaline. She gets nauseous.
I get motion sickness.
Adrenaline kind of junkie in that sense. So like when you go to amusement parks, you don't want to necessarily ride the crazy rides,
the ones that go in loops and that flip all over. I'll ride them, but my eyes have to be closed the whole time. Otherwise I'll get motion sickness.
She can't even ride the teacup.
I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I'm all about riding every roller coaster ride, bungee jumping, you name it. I want to do it. I can't go skydiving. It was on my bucket list, but I guess apparently if you have 5 heart surgeries and a couple pacemakers, they tell you can't jump from an airplane.
Those big sissies.
Yeah, I know, right?
What do they know?
I wouldn't mind trying out a hot air balloon.
Yeah, I was literally gonna suggest you that. I was like, well, what about a hot air balloon? It's a little
I think I would do that.
We just saw one.
We just saw one above one of the farm because he lives in Worcester, which is a lot of farmland.
Mm-hmm.
We saw one. It was baby blue.
My other thing on my bucket list is to try and get George to kiss me, but
you've been
successful at this point.
How many shows?
Can I have a kiss?
Where do you keep disappearing, Pat?
Well, that one's still on the bucket list.
Oh, you guys are too cute.
So another thing on our bucket list is to try and buy a storage unit from every single state. So all 50 states starting next year.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it brings you into the right hashtag Restorage the Love. I don't know if you want them to start chatting about that, Pat, because I know that was on the list of definitely mentioning because it's such a great cause. And I'm excited to see the new adventures that not only you guys are going to do, but bringing others. So go ahead and maybe give us a little bit in the audience and our friends and strangers and YouTubers what Restorage the Love is.
So Restorage the Love was actually, that term was developed back in May. Was it May that we went to San Francisco?
Mike, Storage Auction Pirate, probably came up with the term beforehand, but that's when he started saying Restorage the Love.
Yeah, so that term was coined back when we did the mega collab in San Francisco with Storage Auction Pirate, Storage Stalker, Locker Nuts, Treasure Hustlers, Storage Hunters Vegas, and Bargain Hunter Thrifts and Treasure Hunting with Jeebus. There was a total of 8 channels. And one of the units that Jeremy and Jeebus bid on had 3 urns. So we wanted to return the urns and the remains back to the previous owner. And luckily that day we got a hold of her via Facebook. And then when we went to go return those items to her, we found out that she had been homeless for a year, had no furniture, just moved into this, I want to say it's considered like a condo, a cluster home, maybe a condo.
I don't know. The California's definition of home and housing
maybe a villa.
Than mine.
It wasn't very big. She
Ohio.
Barely had any furniture. And so one of the other storage units that we had bid on and got had really nice furniture. So we ended up donating all of that to her because obviously we couldn't take it back to Ohio with us. Shipping would have been really expensive. So it was the perfect opportunity, I think, to give back to her and give it to her. And that's where Restorage the Love came from. So in other words, it's to pay it forward. Is there anything you want to add on?
Well, I think in the aspect that we see a lot of former owners hit a lot of difficult
Hard
financial times.
Yeah.
And to that end and extreme, 90% of them, there's a very good reason why they've hit those times. But there's that 10% where you go, we can do something. And so we want to be a part of that. The world has enough negative and YouTube has enough negative and we want to be part of something that's the positive. So in the aspect where my vocation used to be Christian camping, I gave everything to the tens of thousands of guests that we had on a 175 acre camp every day. And majority of those were adults. This is something that I can pour my life into because I think one of the ways that God's wired me to serve others. There's no doubt about that. It's just part of my core DNA. I love serving others. And so this is another aspect that I can live that out but not being involved in Christian camping anymore, but I can still live out these core DNA structures that God's placed in me. And George is, believe it or not, she's along for the ride. She's like, all right, let's do this. So I think a lot of it comes from, I mean, obviously it comes from what I do and what I love and where I want to go. And then we meet and she goes, yeah, this sounds cool. All right, let's do it.
Helping others is rewarding to me too. Working in healthcare every day of my career, my job was to help other and to serve as an advocate. So this aligns with being able to help others, which we find very rewarding. Because just because we buy storage units and we resell, it's not always about the money. Being able to do something for others, yeah, it feels good. Like Serena said, it's such a feel-good moment.
Yeah, because you are more recently fun employed as you. Yes. I think you're wearing your merch, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure Melissa or Michelle been dropping links for that, but that was, what was it? July, the beginning of July.
July 4th. It was 4th of July. It was a double celebration.
Independence Day.
Double Independence Day of celebrating Independence Day and celebrating becoming my own independent boss.
And then that was my non-Independence Day. So I celebrated 4th of July Independence Day as a country, but then I was not allowed to celebrate my independence anymore of just being independent because I was no longer independent.
Funny. So I know with storage units, you are planning on traveling and doing the Storage Love. What about I'm curious about your YouTube channel. What the Hales and maybe Curious George, what do you guys got planned for your YouTube? George, are you going to get yours maybe up and running? Or are you going to ride the whole, making it just you guys on What the Hales?
The goal is to eventually start putting up more videos onto my profile. But it's been harder than I thought. Like we've just been so consumed with the What the Hales channel and it's constantly busy. So the high demand of the messages we get on social media, like Facebook, Instagram, and to our Yahoo, and then all the comments, it takes up a lot of time. So
one of the things we continually say is there's got to be an easier way to do YouTube than the way that we're doing it, because it's nonstop and it's every waking moment.
Yeah. So one of our short-term goals for the channel is to take the channel on the road by 2020 and travel all over the world buying storage units for our subscribers. And then long term, who knows, maybe we'll be at 1 million subscribers within a year.
I'm sure you guys are jumping huge. I mean, it's like you hit 100,000 and it started going crazy.
Yeah,
like that's well deserved.
We hit the algorithm, but we are absolutely not in the algorithm right now.
As of this morning, we hit 122,000 subscribers, and then we got the email confirmation that YouTube was going to ship out the silver YouTube play button. So we'll be getting that soon.
Yeah, you're going to do it on a video? You're going to do it on a video, right?
Yeah, see? Kimmy knows what's up.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
We'll do like a short video. Yeah, we're going to do like a short video.
My 8-year-old.
Be like this. We got a play button. All right, goodbye.
I know.
What the hell? First shot this you.
You guys want to hear something interesting? I don't know how I ended up there, but I ended up on eBay sold, and people were selling their YouTube silver play button. One sold for $11,000.
We're hoping to get 14,900 for ours.
Hey, real quick, I want to thank Adam for the super chat. Great guest and co-host. Thanks, Pat. Adam, exploit.
Appreciate it, Adam. He gets a fist bump.
I got the glasses, but I didn't get no George fist bump.
You're gonna have to find one of these either in a storage unit like we did or a thrift store.
Yeah, that thing is awesome.
It holds drinks too. You see that?
Oh no! See, I wasn't paying attention. Try again, Pat. I'm here for you, buddy.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
All right, our turn.
Okay, ready?
You guys ready?
And missed it. Okay, one more time. Ready? Oh, missed it. All right, one more time. Ready? Oh man! this.
Fourth time is a charm.
Ready?
Fourth time is a charm.
Snail.
What was, I want to ask you guys real quick. I'm curious on what was the best and worst find that you guys had. I mean, do you consider the Jaguar the best, or just something that really stood out?
The Jag was pretty sweet. Him and I both love finding vintage antique stuff.
And if you like vintage antique stuff, make sure you watch this weekend. Would those be coming out this weekend? Probably this weekend, if not
Thursday or Friday.
What is it? Today's Thursday, baby.
Oh, today is Thursday.
We don't even know what day it is. We work so much. We have no clue what day of the week it is.
Maybe Saturday.
Thursday Night Live.
Probably. Okay, wait. Tomorrow's Friday. So probably Saturday will be the first one that comes out. We hit a mother load of antiques.
Yeah, the previous owner of this unit was definitely a collector of some sort.
I love antique or anything really with a history. I like.
We've got some history for you.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love finding stuff like that. So it's hard to pinpoint just one item.
Somebody wants to know about a missing guitar case. I'll be right back. I gotta knock at the door a second. All right.
Okay. And then the worst that we found, there's actually a couple things that has been the worst. We always say the people that save their adult teeth. and the weird thing is they're always in those orange medicine bottles, right?
Yeah, they always put them in.
They always put them in the prescription bottles, and some of them have cavities in them. It's disgusting. We don't understand why they hold on to that. And then we recently bought a unit because the facility manager told us that the previous owner wanted the death certificate from that unit. So we bought the unit for $5 just so that we can restore the love and give the death certificate back. That unit was infested with fleas. So that was probably the worst.
That was pretty bad. The person who wanted to know about the missing guitar, you saw exactly what we showed you and what has happened. So we haven't followed up. We didn't call the owners of the facility. We don't even know who the owners of the facility are. We went there, we bought it, we made a video. We're so consumed. You as a viewer, you can't really grasp how YouTube takes over your life when you have a channel and you see yourself as one person. You have to multiply yourself. There are over 1.3 billion people using YouTube every single day, and they inundate you with communication and questions. And so the higher priority for us is cultivating a relationship with YouTubers, not contacting the owner of a conglomerate of a storage unit facility and saying, hey, look at this video. This is what happened. So that's so far off of our list. It's just we won't go back there and buy again. Yeah,
I think the message that we were trying to convey to our viewers is that if you're a newbie or if you want to look into buying online units versus live, these are things that you should look for. And
don't ever purchase at Metro Mini Storage.
And don't ever go
Cleveland.
to that facility.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Even though we did not tell the name of the facility in the video, if you're local, we will tell you where not to go.
If you're observant, you'll figure out what facility it is, because the name does pop up at least once. We don't mention it, but it pops up.
So I know you guys mentioned kind of just like that about being a beginner in storage units. Do you guys have any good tips or advice for maybe beginners in YouTube? Maybe things that you wish that you would have known that you know now?
Oh gosh,
tons of stuff.
We can talk YouTube all day, but every day is a learning curve for us, and we're still trying to figure this YouTube thing out. But so far, it's been a fun ride, and
I would say if you want to be successful in YouTube, number one, you need to generate good content, because good content generates watch time. And YouTube is all based on watch time. So YouTube promotes your channel if people are watching it. And so better content equals better watch time, which equals better growth. So focus on your content. And then then your channel will grow. But you also have to know your audience and what they want. So one of the things that we often talk about with our channel, what's the core thing that people want to know with What the Hale? They want to know what's in the box. So for us, or trunk. So you'll see a lot of us going, what's in the safe? We found a safe. We found a trunk. We found a military bag. We found and so people want to know what's in there. That's the core. And so we're trying to get to that core of what they actually want to know and show them. And so you got to know what your consumer wants to see as well, because that's what they're doing. They're consuming your videos. And so you highlight that helps you generate good content. But the other thing that I would definitely say, and we've said it all the time to everybody who's asked us about YouTube, is don't be anybody than who you are. Let your creativity come out. Now, if you've got a foul mouth, that's not going to work with YouTube, because they have terms and policies. And so you have to adhere within that. Don't do anything stupid. Be who you are, but you have to adhere to those policies as well on the platform.
Keep it PG.
And it's just a ton of fun. It can be an absolute ton of fun, but it's also a ton of
dedication and work.
It is. It's I think there's definitely more good than there is bad, but it is a lot of work, but it's cool. You know what? Really, it's eye-opening and kind of made me realize I used to sort of think all these silly little jobs that I had, I was in maybe they're not silly, but for example, I said earlier, I owned a roofing business. I was partnered with my ex-husband. I did a lot of the more dealing with the insurance side of things and the numbers and stuff like that. But even before that, I was a restaurant owner. And then before that, I worked in retail at Mervyn's forever. During Christmas season, I would have to be at the guest desk wrapping presents. And so all of this is sort of built up into what I do now. And all those silly little things I thought were pointless jobs is kind of really led me to use all those skills on YouTube. Like, it's pretty amazing, the opportunity. If you can dream it, like you figure out how to do it. I think I've definitely grown a lot, even in a short period of time. You learn a lot about yourself because people repeat everything that you say, or you find more of the quirks about you. But I think that there's far more good than there's bad. So,
by all means, it creates an incredible community.
Mm-hmm.
Haters are always going to hate, but the lovers are always going to love. Align yourself with the lovers. Go ahead and forget the haters. Never, ever give the haters the attention that they want. 95% of the people are going to love you. 5% are going to hate you. Give all of your attention and love to the 95 who love you, and they'll love you even more.
That is great advice. I was telling somebody, well, actually, my daughter earlier today, we were talking about, if you hang out with 9 losers, guess who's going to be the 10th one? But if you hang out with 9, people who have goals and dreams and are good, guess who's probably going to be the 10th one? You so you need to surround yourself with like-minded folks if you want to accomplish things in life.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, Kimmy, we're getting down to the last about 10 minutes here. If you want to mention what you're doing with your channel. You guys are waiting for your 100,000 plaque, you guys said?
Yeah. We got the confirmation email today that YouTube shipped it out.
Yeah, because I got a package in from What the Hales. Yeah. Kimmy, if you want to talk about
while you're doing, I don't know, whatever you're doing, you just never know with Patdees.
Well, I sent him that package. I sent him that package for this evening. Ooh. I mean, he's been such a great student.
That's awesome. Yeah, make sure to tune in next week. I see Melissa W. Shout out again to Melissa W. for doing throwing out some links for us. You are awesome, as well as Michelle. Next week, I'm hosting the Thursday night show on my channel, Borderline Hoarderish, and the special guest is DG Picker Jordan. So hopefully we're going to be talking about reseller things, but also how he gets and figures out all those penny sales. Buying stuff for a penny, pretty awesome.
and as everybody knows, we're hosting the Thursday Night Live, so the channel will be rotating between myself and Kimberly, and then I do the Saturday night late show at 11 o'clock, and there's about 5 or 6 of us. Do you guys got anything that you guys want to plug? That what's going on? I mean, how often do you guys go live?
Every Sunday is our live Q&A every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we've been doing a rotation just like you guys, where we host the Auctions Anonymous weekly meeting with other channels that also buy storage units and that are addicted just as much as we are. But it's a safe place for all the channels to meet. And a lot of our subscribers will hop on, and it's a lot of fun. And then because we can talk about YouTube and we can talk about storage units all day. And then what else did I miss? I think that's it.
You missed giving me a kiss.
Well, we make things so awkward.
It's funny. It makes me think of the time when he was trying to sniff your hair or something. I was like, what are you doing?
He's so good at trying to make things so awkward.
Yeah, that's fun.
This is great. Man.
Pat, I'm hoping as a student and alumni of What the Hales, you know what to do with that.
Yeah. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. What?
Pat.
What?
Pat.
Oh, boy.
Pat.
How I wonder.
Pat.
What?
It goes like this. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so bright, like a
Hales is going on tonight.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
I gotta still learn.
How I wonder what you are.
Give it up for Jeremy.
I thought Pat was ready. I thought he was ready.
Well,
He's ready.
We're going to have to do some more lessons, Pat.
101 was the storage units. I just got and 2. Why did Patdees get a mini guitar?
I sent one with 4 strings. I didn't think you were ready for 6 strings.
Oh, okay. And George, next time when I see you again, I want you to autograph this one.
All right. Just have a Sharpie ready for us.
All right. Well, guys, I do appreciate you guys coming on this week. I greatly appreciate the support that you've given me personally and the channel. And
we appreciate you inviting us on your channel.
I thank you.
We love both you and Kimmy.
Oh, thank you. You guys are awesome. It was fun. And an honor for you guys to come and hang out with us tonight.
Aw, same here.
And I'm hoping in the future that we could do something again.
I think we're going to have to. We got to get you some guitar lessons.
It's mandatory at this point.
I'm getting there. But I want to thank everybody for stopping in, and I appreciate everybody's support. I want you guys to have a great night. If you guys want to say goodbye or any more one thing before we go, thank you.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. Good night.
Bye.